Welcome back to Morning Joy, where truth matters. I'm your host, Keith Downey, and we're going to be learning a lot about our guardian angels today because we've got Debbie Georgiani and Adam Bly on the next right thing. Good morning, Debbie and Adam.
Good morning, Keith. Well, we can't learn too much because we have less than 30 minutes, but we're going to try to pack it all in during this segment of the next right thing. And Adam, as you know, I got a big smile on my face today on the Feast of the Guardian Angels, and I thought it was so kind of everyone that listens to Catholic radio, including some of the affiliates that hear our show, The Spirit World. They contacted me early this morning, and they said, Debbie, it was so funny because as we were recognizing the Feast of the Guardian Angels, we thought of you because you're such a big promoter of the angels. And that just warmed my heart to think that, you know, folks would actually remember that I have a deep, as you know, Adam, a deep love and devotion to the angels. And this day, the Feast of the Archangels on Sunday, this whole week is a big week for me personally in my spiritual life. But I just wanted to say, Adam, that the beauty of this day is for all of us to recognize that we all have a very unique guardian angel that was handpicked by God himself. And they do behold the face of God and minister to us at the same time. So there's that word, connection. That's my great word for the year. That it enables us to really stay very close to what we need to do as Christians, as we're walking this earth, and to be able to have that protection, because the guardian angels are there to really strengthen us and to get us focused. And if we take them into a relationship sense with an understanding that they do have a mission by God, and the mission is us, it does enhance our journey so much more in such a beautiful way, a comforting way. And we have some questions actually coming in from our listeners, so we can address that as you share. What your thoughts about this beautiful feast? And happy feast day of the Guardian Angels, Adam.
You too, Deb. You know, there's two things that come to mind. One is I'm sure there's some people out there saying, like, wait a second, they're before God in heaven and they're with you. How can that be? Angels aren't like us. They don't have a physical body that's limited. Like, I can only be in one place at a time, right? Mm-hmm. Now, of course, some saints bilocated, but that's not their body being in two places. Their spirit would leave their body and be in a different location. And that's very, very rare. So as in normal life, I can only be in one place at one time. Angels don't have bodies. They don't have that physical limitation. And the way Thomas Aquinas talks about it is like sunlight, the same sunlight coming, you know, the light from the sun can light up many different homes and come through the windows of many different homes simultaneously, but there's still only one sun. So it's kind of an analogy that he uses to try to understand this. So they are simultaneously before God in heaven and wherever God wishes them to be, because they're not limited in space the way we are. Mm-hmm. The second thing that comes to mind, I bet some people are saying, like, okay, great, their mission is to do what I want or to achieve whatever I desire in life. And it's not necessarily that. Their mission is to get you to heaven. And so the goal is for you to avoid sin and grow in holiness and cooperate with grace, which is the only way you grow in holiness. We can't do it ourselves. Mm-hmm. So their mission is to get us to heaven. So they're not like a servant that does what we want.
And we don't own them.
We don't own them. We're not over them. In the order of creation, while we're here in this life, they're a higher order of creature.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And so it's not our place to tell them what to do. We can ask them, hey.
And invite them, yeah.
Yeah, and invite them. And we are encouraged to do that. And, you know, some church fathers have said the more we ask them to do and invite them to be active in our life, the more active they become, because our free will is cooperating with them, and we're saying, like, yes, help me with this temptation, or help me to overcome my selfishness, or whatever it might be. So it's a very interesting relationship. Mm-hmm. And the last thing I'll say here at the opening, Deb, is we don't have absolute complete clarity on all the details about the angels. God hasn't provided, you know, an owner's manual that tells us exactly how all of this works.
Right.
And it's not necessary for us to understand everything about how it works. Like, I don't understand everything about how vaccines work, but I still use them and they still protect me and help me. But I don't need to be a medical researcher and know all that. So, kind of in a similar way, for us to get spiritual benefits, we don't need to necessarily have all the details. We have a lot, and people have worked out, through logic from the details we have quite a bit. But there's a bit of a mystery here, and we do have to live with that.
Yeah, and but we do. It's important for us because the angels are a truth of our faith, and it's important for us to trust that God did set it up that way with the angels at the beginning of time, and so we enter into that with that cooperation that you spoke about, and also this plan to work with the angel to help us get to heaven. So you don't want to work against your guardian angel. That's not a good thing. There's been saints that have kind of had a little bit of resistance with their guardian angels they talked about, and they're there to really encourage you to stay on that path of holiness, to really get in a state of grace, stay in a state of grace, and that's what we talk about a lot when we're doing Morning Joy and the Spirit World. But Adam, a couple things. Dave Asher has cited the scripture, the passage of Jesus saying that at Matthew 18:10. To really be careful, right? To not to hurt the little ones. Now, little ones is all of us who are humble and obedient. It's all of us, not just the little children. It's that model of humility, right, and vulnerability and openness and trust. And he said, be careful. Be really careful because you hurt them. You are. It's really a problem because their angels are. Beholding the face of God, and that's a confirmation there. Psalm 91 is another confirmation for us, God's protection of the angels to guard us and guide us in all our ways. The guardian angel prayer, it is not just a cute little prayer that we learned as children. It is a very powerful prayer. Popes over the centuries have talked about this, it's so much so that they have included it in a way to receive some kind of indulgences, partial or plenary indulgences, when this prayer is recited on a regular basis with true reverence, right, to understanding that they have a mission. So you have all these areas, and then you got the Catechism of the Catholic Church, beginning around 328, paragraph 328, talking about the truth of the angels, where they cited, from St. Thomas Aquinas in the Summa and St. Augustine and the other great church fathers and saints that have helped develop the understanding of the angels. And I agree with you, Adam. We're never going to fully grasp the concept of the angels on this side of the veil. And I think the good Lord, in his incredible wisdom, we would be overwhelmed. But we do need to trust in that because it is a truth of our faith. And so this day is a special day, in my opinion, to really just think about it, that you have this incredible pure spirit beside you all the days of your life. And that is pretty amazing that the good Lord would think about that for us, because that's why it does. When people say, I feel so alone, you don't have to feel that way because you're not alone. And that's a very comforting thought, to know that we have this heavenly spirit to be with us and be our soul guards and our bodyguards along this journey. That's powerful. But Adam, we do have a question that came in from our Morning Joy listeners, and the question is developing a relationship with my guardian angel a good way to have peace of mind while war breaks out all over? Absolutely. And here's something we can talk about, Adam. Let me just check with Tim, our producer, how much we have. Okay, we have a few minutes. Maybe we can start talking about it now and then on the second segment. But Adam, with all these disturbances, everything we've got going, all the news breaking out that there's wars and even natural disasters, all sorts of things, we have to remember that God set it up so beautifully. We have our individual guardian angels to really help to bring us that peace as we stay focused on God. But we also have angels over communities and parishes and the weather and over countries and over continents. And so there's all these layers, the way God set it up. So it's important that we do invoke the angels and to help us keep a sense of peace as we are going through these crazy times in life. What do you say about that?
Yeah. And I think, we all feel the news and we all feel the weight of, the barrage of just constant drama and often the news is negative. But keeping the focus on the ultimate goal and the ultimate reality, which is, this life is short and we need to live it out as long as God has planned for us to live it out and live it out to the fullest, do our best. But then it's an eternity in heaven, hopefully. And so you do your best in the circumstances you're living in and leave the rest to God. In one of the commercials I heard, they said something very important, to try to take on the worries of the world about things you can't control. It's not healthy. And Jesus, and the Bible in a number of places, in addition to the things Jesus said, says, don't worry, don't be anxious. It doesn't do any good. The Father is sovereign over everything and,
right.
Cares about you and is keeping track of things. So just do what's in front of you, do it well, and leave the rest to God.
And we have some suggestions for our Morning Joy listeners on how to start to begin that understanding and relationship with your guardian angel and be really pleased about it and confident and joy-filled. I mean, that's what Morning Joy is all about. So we'll hold it there, Adam, on this beautiful feast day of the guardian angels, and we'll send it back to Keith for some important announcements.
All right. Thank you so much, Debbie and Adam. And if you're live streaming from any of the social medias and you have a question about guardian angels or angels in general, feel free to put that in the live chat. Otherwise, if you're listening on the radio or on the podcast platform that you're probably listening to, you can go ahead and send your questions in to morningjoy@grnonline.com. I absolutely love the guardian angel prayer, by the way. Since I'm the first one up in my family, obviously getting up really early for the show, I'm able to be there for when my daughter wakes up, my toddler, and we always pray the guardian angel prayer. And if I forget, God forbid, I definitely am in trouble. So it's a beautiful thing that she holds me accountable to. But I do have a couple quotes. I may be able to squeeze them in here from Saint John Bosco. When tempted, invoke your angel. He is more eager to help you than you are to be helped. Ignore the devil and do not be afraid of him. He trembles and flees at the sight of your guardian angel. And then we have Saint Therese of Lisieux. We just celebrated yesterday. My holy guardian angel, cover me with your wing. With your fire, light the road that I'm taking. Come direct my steps. Help me. I call upon you just for today. There's a couple more quotes from saints, but maybe we'll save that for the other before the break. But coming up next, we are continuing this conversation. There's a lot of craziness going on in the world. We know this. We see the headlines. And we're going to continue talking about guardian angels and angels in general and how they can help us keep that sense of peace. Right up after this break, stay tuned for more The Next Right Thing here on Morning Joy, where truth matters.
You're listening to Morning Joy, where truth matters.
Welcome back to Morning Joy, where truth matters. Keith Downey, your host, and we are continuing this conversation on all things guardian angels with Debbie Georgianni and Adam Bly. Take it away, Debbie and Adam.
Thanks so much, Keith. I love those quotes that you shared with all of our Morning Joy listeners. Those are wonderful. I hope you can weave some more in today on the Feast of the Guardian Angels. But Adam, I get asked this question often, and I'm always hesitant to answer in a specific way. I kind of generally answer because it kind of gets me a little bit. I'm thinking don't make it about my devotion to the angels. Everybody's devotion to the angels is different and very unique, and so I recognize that and respect that. But I do get asked the question all the time. How did you develop a relationship with your guardian angel? And I'd like to share that with our Morning Joy listeners, if I may, Adam. And I'd like to ask you about your relationship with your guardian angel, if you're willing to share. For me, it's very simple, and folks don't have to do what I do, but I've done this for many, many years. I have a strong belief inside of me that I feel like when you get up in the morning and the world starts going and you're living life, it's so easy to forget about your guardian angel. And I also think, this is just my personal opinion, that the demons love that. They keep us distracted so that we're not recognizing and realizing that we do have a guardian angel beside us. And the reason why I know that is because from teaching about guardian angels for many years, Adam, I would have people raise their hand. I'd say, how many of you thought of your guardian angel today? And very few would raise their hand. And I'm talking, I would speak to hundreds of people at a time. And it was shocking to me. And then I realized I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that way and forget about my guardian angel. So I make it a point every single morning. And so this is what I personally do every morning, to say the guardian angel prayer very reverently, and to recognize that my guardian angel is there, and to reference Matthew 18:10, and to also Psalm 91, and just reinforce in my mind the truth of the angels. And it sets my day. And then at the end of the day, I do the same thing. And I do that religiously every single day, for the reason to get me to that point where I am aware of my guardian angel's mission that was given by God, and I am choosing to cooperate and to be in that relationship, and I want that relationship, and I make an effort. So I think the key for me anyway, and why I feel so close to the guardian angels, is that I made that effort and I do it on a daily basis. Any your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I became more aware of angels, over earlier in this 20 years I've been working in the world of, being at exorcisms and things like that. Very, very aware of them, and in terms of sometimes asking them to assist with the prayers or assist with deliverance for people. So they became a little more of a concrete reality for me. I wasn't thinking of them or as aware. I was aware abstractly. I'm a cradle Catholic. I knew in theory, but I didn't take it as seriously. But now, I just ask them, and I don't, presume to name them, because they're a higher order of creature than us. But I ask them for help. And here's the thing, Deb. My approach, the way I think about them, because I know there's some people out there saying like, oh, this sounds like idolatry. It sounds like you're worshiping angels. No, absolutely not. Angels only point back to God. Mm-hmm. It's like this. If somebody breaks into my home and I call the police and the police come and they enforce the law and they keep me safe and they apprehend a criminal, I say thank you for doing your job. Right. But the police didn't define the law, and they weren't the mayor of the town that made the budget to make the police force possible. They are the people that are doing their job, but they didn't create their jobs, and they didn't provide the tax money that pays their salaries. They didn't buy their police cars. It's kind of like that. I thank the angels for doing their job, but I know they're working for God, and that's God right. is the important part. So I thank God even more for sending his angels to be amongst us and assist us. So the focus isn't on worshiping them. In fact, angels have always corrected people, even in Scripture. Don't be afraid, don't be overwhelmed. The important thing is God. Mm-hmm. So that's the way I kind of approach interacting with them is, right. thank you for being there and doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Well, and that's a great way to fit them into your spiritual life, because a lot of people, that's the other question I get. Well, how do we fit them in? Well, right. that's the beauty of it, to understand that they have been given a mission by God. You're recognizing that, and you're just cooperating with God's plan, and that's important. But let's share this about the angels. They're very, very powerful. You don't want to mess with the angels. You don't want to try to get their attention by trying to interact or ask for certain favors or certain signs or certain communication. That can be very dangerous, and also that's a disrespect to God and the plan. What we need to do is trust that God has this beautiful arrangement for us, so that we have the help along the journey. Anything you want to talk about that in the last couple minutes? Because what frightens me a little bit is when people say, well, I have a close relationship with my guardian angel. I talk to them all the time, and I'm trying to get signs from them. I know that saints have done that, and they have spoken to their guardian angels. They've had that kind of relationship, but we have to look at it like that, because they were on a little bit of a different kind of path, a spiritual depth. I'm not saying that isn't possible. I'm just saying don't be searching for that, because it could be dangerous.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. So people that have a particular job for God created them to do a particular spiritual job. They may be aware of, see, and talk with their guardian angels like Padre Pio did from the time he was a child. That's because that's necessary for the work he's appointed to do. We shouldn't all expect to be able to get to that point if we just ask enough. And so, yeah, you don't want to look for signs. You want to ask them for assistance, but don't expect them to talk out loud to you. Don't expect them to do parlor tricks for you. Because what you're going to get is demons stepping in and pretending to be an angel to lure you into relationship. Now, really quick, Deb, this is kind of exciting. Mm-hmm. The Bible and the church gives us 3 main ways that we can ask the angels to help us. Let's get really concrete. We've got 3 named angels in the Bible: Gabriel, Raphael, Michael. That's it. What are they? Messenger, healer, and warrior. So let's follow that and follow Scripture. For the messenger, when I'm reading the Bible, when I'm listening to a talk, Gabriel, holy guardian angel, please inspire my understanding. Deliver the message that God wants me to hear through my understanding. Give me the illumination of understanding in what I'm reading in the Bible or what I'm hearing here. Not to speak to me, guardian angel, but inspire the message of God in me. Number 2, healing. Guardian angel, please help me overcome this illness. Please help me overcome this psychological hang up that I've got over this or this drama. Please heal this relationship between me and this other person. They can bring healing into our lives. And thirdly, the warrior, and Michael has many other functions, but the big one we think of as the warrior is I'm wrestling with temptation. I'm wrestling with, this selfishness, this destructiveness, this despair. Michael, please, holy guardian angel, please fight for me.
Absolutely. Well said. Absolutely agree, Adam. Thank you so much. And please, to our Morning Joy listeners, please consider saying the guardian angel prayer today and with your family. I think it's a beautiful way to honor the angels. And Adam, have a beautiful day. And Keith, take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Debbie and Adam. And make sure to tune in, get your calendar out this Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Central for the Spirit World, where both Debbie and Adam are going to be talking about, the Rosary, because it is the month of the Rosary. So make sure to tune in this coming Saturday, 10 a.m. Central. Now, I do have a couple saint quotes regarding our guardian angels. We have St. Francis de Sales. He says, "Make yourself familiar with the angels and behold them frequently in spirits. Without being seen, they are present with you." Very similar to what Debbie was mentioning earlier. And then probably my all-time favorite quote here from St. Jose Maria Escriva. "If you remembered the presence of your angel and the angels of your neighbors, you would avoid many of the foolish things which slip into your conversations." I needed to hear that. And it actually kind of fits quite well, ties in perfectly with our next segment with Sissel Anderson. Yeah, coming up after this quick break here, we're going to be talking about the quick judgments we make of others and, of course, ourselves every single day. Sometimes we just do it without really thinking about it. So that's why it's good to have that check in place. And that's what we're all going to be talking about quickly here soon after this break. So hang tight, get another cup of coffee. I probably need to. But coming up after this break, we'll see you on Morning Joy, where truth matters.
You're listening to Morning Joy, where truth matters.